Yo, sis, what up? I'm going to pull you a few cards, see what's up right now, what you need to know, what you need to hear to have your best day, best life, whatever comes out. What I do, if you haven't seen me before, is I channel messages from your higher self, soul guides, to tell you what you need to know right now. Because most of us humans, we're going through life, we're in the thick of it, we're doing all the things we have to do, and your best life is to stop for a minute and connect to your soul. So I like to help people do that. I like to bring those messages through. I love in the readings when we get these ahas and we can actually make changes in our life. It's kind of crazy how this works. I'm in awe of it all the freaking time. And hey, look what's on the bottom here. You are a badass being full of life, love, and possibilities. So through this reading, may you find the path to your best self. That's what I love to do. It's what I'm designed for, is to help you with that. It's what lights me up and fills my soul. So here I am to do it. Pull through the channel that you need to hear right now. So I'm just going to close my eyes so I can tune in, see what you need to know, what you need to hear. Definitely, it's all about getting us out of complacency and into the life of our dreams. That's what I'm about. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what they're really showing me right now? Is you're ready to let go of restriction and complacency and not knowing yourself, and you know that you know those feelings when you do something really great and you're proud of it and you're lit and you're doing something really fun and people see you for you and they're excited about you and things are working out. You've had different times in your life where that is, but it's maybe not your everyday all the time. What if it could be? Not that we're not always going to experience challenges in life that reflect to us, where we're not free and stuff like that. But when 90% of your life is just complacency and to-dos, and only 10% of your life are those really lit moments, that's where you gotta flip it. Because it should really be the other way around. And you're moving into that era now. It's not so much about holding on to and the hoarding. It's going to be more about the freedom to move. There's such beautiful energy coming here because you know that there's more. There's more to you. There's more to life. And you're just kind of waiting to get it started. But guess what? Guess what? If you start with the little things like your perspective, really having the gratitude, I'm sure you've heard that before, and really being able to see things from that higher perspective of like the soul's point of view, and taking that radical responsibility for the choices you've made to be in complacency and in these restricted places, so you can be mirrored to yourself where you're not free and get free, right? You gotta kind of acknowledge that this is where it's going. And you've probably hung on to a lot of things in your material world that are no longer serving you. It's so easy to do. I get it. So we're not going to beat ourselves up about it. We're just going to recognize, we're going to see it for what it is. And we're going to have the optimism and the hope. I was doing a channel last night for myself, and it was all about why, like, what is hope about and how is that even useful? When you're facing a situation that's ugly and gross and uncomfortable, and you bring hope into the situation, it gives your mind and your heart a chance to get in coherence. It's not about clouding over what is and just projecting what you want on a situation and not seeing it. It's actually seeing hope put you in the right vibration and frequency to think about possibility instead of being stuck in the past of what happened. So the perspective of hope could be really, really helpful for you today. And they definitely just keep pointing me towards the support that the universe is sending you right now. And it might take a pause for a moment to kind of look around and go, yeah, okay, like there is support from here that I didn't realize, or maybe that's what's about to come in for you, right? The people, places, and things. And mostly your soul wants to have that connection with you first, right? That real deep conversations with soul, understanding yourself and being able to see these perspectives. It will feed it to you if you ask, what else is possible here? What else can I see? It might take some journaling and some meditation, but it's totally possible for you to connect to what is, your soul and the possibilities of the universe. And yeah, that's where you're headed, out of restriction and into that deep knowing of self. I love that. Into reflecting back to yourself what it is that you truly want. And yeah, making that connection to your soul and seeing how the relationship with your soul can really affect your material world and the people, the places, the things that you attract on the daily. It kind of becomes a game. Okay. If you can kind of look at it like, what else is possible here, soul? Like, if I talk to you right now to help me with this decision, or to make that next move in my day, how will that really change my overall life? And, it might take a bit. It's going to take some practice, right? It may not be tomorrow, but we definitely have fast moving energy here. The universe is supporting you to take these leaps and make it happen. And things can move quite quickly from there. And you may literally be making a physical move. You're definitely having reflected to you, where things aren't working and what you're ready to do. It's like, yeah, you're ready to move from the control and the force and the figuring out of everything, and the, living from being motivated by pain, being motivated by what's not working. You're going to change that now. Okay. You're ready to put that motivation down and be motivated by the truth of who you are, the deeper connection to your soul, to the multi-dimensional self that you are in the universe that you live in. You're ready to see, yeah, that deeper connection. And I'm excited for you for that. Right? That's amazing. Okay, what else do we need to know? What else do you need to hear? Sending lots of love into the heart chakra, really awakening that part of you, letting it be a little bit more of the guide, instead of the mind. When we live in the mind, we forget our instincts. We kind of shove them down because they're more of a whisper in our head. But you're ready to be guided by that now. You're ready for that, for your instincts. And when you feel impatient because you're in the in-between, because you're going to live out in the now, the decisions of your yesterday human, but because you're making this change, each day you're moving to, like, you're living out yesterday's decisions. So as you're making better decisions, as you're consciously creating in your life, then, pretty soon you're living out those decisions, and it just keeps going, right? And that's alignment, baby. That's how you get into alignment. So letting go of the force and control, I mean, in my life has just been crazy. Like, I was all about seeing things, the potential of things, seeing where they could go, and then doing whatever it took to make it happen, ignoring the needs of my human, ignoring all the facets of life, right? I really focused in on one area, and that can really skew your true perspective, and you'll start to see things from that restricted place. So we want to open that up. We want to start to really see possibility, again, going into that energy of hope, not to override what's really going on, but to remind ourselves that each moment is just the moment we're experiencing, and so much more is possible. So much more is possible. And your perspective is going to be a lot about that. And getting in connection with who you really are and letting your soul speak to you, right? Letting the universe surprise and delight you. That's hopeful. And that is how you're really going to see things in your life come together. So that's exciting. That's exciting. No more fighting it. Getting in alignment with who we really are. Okay, so let's just see one more card here. What else do we need to know? Do we need to say? I'm hearing we have to speak the truth to ourselves. So I want you to just really think about, like, where can you speak more truth to yourself about what you're looking at in your life and what it's really doing for you. And it can be really hard to do that. You might want to get your journal out and not just think about it, because that's the habit you need to change, right? You got to get into feeling it. You got to get into being aware of what you're really doing that's creating the life you don't want, so you can start living the life that you do want. And you may need you will need support with that, because we tend to loop ourselves back. But definitely getting into journaling, so you're not just thinking, is going to be a great help for that. Okay, where you guys right now, I need to know. I love that. Deep trust of self, getting really connected to how you feel about your life in the now, what's possible for you, really being radically intimate and honest with yourself about that. And I just want to see, look at this card. And it really speaks to not being dazzled by, it's funny to say it that way, not being dazzled by the distractions and the everyday have to do's that again, your yesterday's human has put in place for you, but really leaning into being dazzled by what else is possible if what you're looking at isn't what you want, you know? So this card represents desire, temptation, and attraction. Its two main readings suggest that you could either be manifesting the energy of this madam herself out of one of her onlookers, or that of one of her onlookers. Whatever your romantic situation, consider the positives in love that come from your attractive confidence, but also recognize the downsides that could arise from giving into temptation completely. And I like that for this, because it's all about, living in complete confidence and love of self. I got a little crow in here. Hi, buddy. Living in that sensual place of complete confidence of self, and loving on self and giving self what you need, but not being in a complacent place where you're just always trying to satisfy the wounds, right? It's so different. Like when you're in complacency, you get stuck satisfying the wounds. So that would look like you want a healthy body, but you're going to eat a whole bunch of frosting, down a whole thing of peanut butter in a binge eating situation, because that's what's going to make you feel better in the moment. And that is just feeding temptation to stay where you're at. That is running away and not facing the true decisions that are in your heart that you want to make, that will actually make you feel better. And that's what they're talking about here. Really moving into the trust of who you are and the confidence to take the steps you want to take, like not binge eating to make yourself feel better, or just zoning out to TV or scroll holing, but really doing the things today that is creating the life for tomorrow. But in order to do that, you have to be in deep connection with self and ultimately with your soul. Yeah. Yeah. I love that. Okay. I'm cheering you on. Get out there and go get them. Get in connection with your soul's voice and start to move from there. And of course, I can totally help you with that. I do sessions online, in person, whatever. Connect with me and let's get you living from the truth inside you, not the conditioning and programming that may be reflected in your life right now. It gets to be so much better. It gets to be so much better. You got this.